If your relationship with yourself was a romantic one or a friendship, would you decide to stay in it? Because being with yourself 24/7 and not enjoying it, that's not just feeling lonely, that's mentally exhausting. We talk about relationships all the time, but the most important relationship of all that affects every other one of our relationships and interactions with others is the relationship that we have with ourselves. When that relationship is neglected, we chase love, we run ourselves dry, and worst of all, we don't recognize our own worth. You don't need more affirmations. You don't need a spa day to feel relaxed. No, you need evidence that you're someone worth showing up for. And that's what we're diving into today. And I'm going to share some tips, which are really important to help build that relationship with yourself. The first step is self-trust and building that self-trust for yourself. Without trust, no relationship thrives. If you don't trust yourself, how can you love yourself or believe that you can do great things, right? So, what is self-trust? What does it actually mean? It's believing in your own ability to follow through on what you promise to yourself with integrity and your capability of making decisions for yourself that are in your best interest. It's essentially knowing I've got me. I've got this. I've got my own back. So what are we doing all the time that actually inhibits self-trust and lowers it for ourselves? Well, one is breaking your own promises, even tiny little ones. Those count too, right? When we don't follow through on things that we say that we're going to do for ourselves, that makes us trust ourselves less. Also, not speaking up for yourself and avoiding like those gut feelings to avoid conflict, that also inhibits self-trust. And something that I've done in the past is overcommitting to others and flaking on yourself. So you prioritize everybody else's needs, everybody else's wants. Maybe you're a people pleaser. I know I was. And then when it comes to you, you're just exhausted and you're like, oh no, I'll get to it tomorrow. That does not build self-trust with yourself. So what are things that can build self-trust? If you're lacking that self-trust, you need to build it up in small steps. And one great way to do that is by following up on small promises and goals. The idea is to make them attainable. That is the key word, attainable. I think sometimes we chase goals and we just go all in. We go from 0 to 100, and that is intimidating. Say you're not really active, you're not really going to the gym, and your goal is all of a sudden to go to the gym 5 days a week for an hour every day. That's daunting. So you need to make it small and easy for you to achieve so that you can start building that trust with yourself and then build this habit so that you can continue growing. So maybe instead of doing 5 days at the gym for an hour each week, it can be, I'm going to work out for 15 minutes on Monday and on Friday. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm just going to go on YouTube, find a 15-minute workout video and work out at home. And then that makes it easier to achieve. You're removing anything that can get in your way, right? And then when you do that, you start building that self-trust. It's like, oh, I was able to do it. Oh, I've done 3 weeks and I've been consistent. It gives you that boost of confidence. And then you can start building from there. Because if it's too big and there's going to be roadblocks and things that are going to get in your way, if you don't manage to follow through, that's just going to lead to more disappointment. And again, that vicious cycle of not trusting yourself begins again. And then also what can help build trust is let action lead emotion. Some people may not agree with this, but sometimes you don't have to feel motivated in order to do this thing. Sometimes you need to do the thing first, and then that helps you get motivated. I'm going to be honest, sometimes recording these YouTube videos, it takes a lot of time. And I'm not always motivated to do them. Being 100% honest right now, I wasn't feeling 100% motivated to film this one because I haven't recorded a video in so long. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me so long to edit because I'm going to be rusty. But I'm not going to wait until I get motivated, right? Because if I keep putting it off, maybe I won't feel motivated for another 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 months. So I turn on the camera and here I am recording. And then the motivation comes once the action is complete and you show yourself, oh, I can do this. Remember, self-trust isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent and kind to yourself, even when you mess up. Second way to build that relationship with yourself is date yourself on purpose. You don't need somebody to treat you like a prize. You can do that for yourself and show up for yourself. And I know people say that all the time, like, oh, you should just date yourself, especially when you're single, but it really is true. You get more comfortable being by yourself and being alone because alone doesn't mean lonely. You can be totally alone and content and happy. So when you are comfortable going out and taking yourself on little dates and doing things that you like by yourself, you're building that trust, you're building that confidence in yourself, and you're connecting with yourself more. Because when we wait for others to make ourselves feel worthy, we're putting our value on hold. Solo dating helps break codependent patterns and builds a deeper connection with who we are when no one else is looking. I mean, one good way to start doing this is just to schedule a weekly solo date. Go out and do something you love. Go to a bookstore, go take an art class, whatever it is you want to do, schedule and pencil in either a weekly or maybe just to start a monthly solo date for yourself. I still take myself on dates. Like I am engaged. I live with my fiance, but I love my solo dates. Like I will take myself out for coffee and bring my Kindle with me so that I can read a book while I'm having breakfast. As you become more comfortable in your own skin and in yourself, it becomes enjoyable and you almost look forward to these little day dates that you plan for yourself. Remember, the way you treat yourself sets the tone for the other relationships that you have in your life. And speaking of awkward and feeling uncomfortable, you need to get uncomfortable in order to find out who you are. If you never challenge yourself, you're never going to grow, for one. And also, you won't understand your true potential and the extraordinary things that you can do. Being uncomfortable sucks. Like, there's no way around it. It sucks. That's usually when you start overthinking, limiting beliefs come in, and you start thinking to yourself, I can't do this. I'm not good at this. Like, why am I even trying? I suck. Also, humans just love comfort and being in our comfort zones. That's cozy. That's our safe place, right? But leaning into that discomfort will help you grow. Every time that I've been in a situation that made me uncomfortable because it made me unsure of myself, it challenged the belief that I had in myself that I can do hard things. I hated it. But at the end of it, I came out so much more stronger and I learned more about myself, plus my own potential, because that's when you can prove to yourself, oh, I can do this. I can go through hard things or things that I think are challenging and grow from it. We were never always good at everything that we're good at now. What's comfortable to us now was outside of our comfort zone before. So I always try to remind myself of that when I'm facing a new challenge. Is like, okay, I've never done this before, but there are a lot of things that I had never done before that I am now either really good at or proficient in. So I have to try first before judging myself and saying, I can't do this. I'm going to suck at it. And yeah, you probably won't be good at it, but that's normal. You're not going to be perfect at everything on the first try. So how do you practice this? Do something that makes you a little nervous. You could start small. Like, what's something that you are actually curious about that sparks your interest that you've wanted to do, but you haven't done it because it makes you a little nervous? Start off small so that you can build that confidence in yourself. And it will feel scary at first when you do it, but by the end of it, you're going to realize, oh, that wasn't so bad. Another small example from my life is I started indoor rock climbing. And FYI, I am terrified of heights. Am I an amazing rock climber? No, I am not. But I do it specifically to push myself outside of my comfort zone. And I've gotten a lot better. But the first time I went, you think I climbed all the way up to the top? My first time when I'm terrified of heights? Absolutely not. I think the most I got was halfway, and I'm like, okay, bring me down, because all of the thoughts were racing in my head, like, what am I doing? I'm going to die. This is how I die. But after a few months, the negative thoughts, the limiting beliefs started getting quieter and quieter as I learned to trust myself more and become more confident that, okay, I can do this. So start small and push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Again, with everything else, you don't have to wait to be ready. Confidence follows action. So similarly to what I did, I wasn't ready to rock climb. I was freaking terrified, but I did it anyways. And the confidence came afterwards when you start realizing that what you've built up in your head to be this huge, big thing is not as bad as it actually truly is. This may seem preachy and wishy-washy, but it is so true. But you need to start talking to yourself like somebody you love. If someone spoke to you the way that you talk to yourself, would you trust them? Would you want to be around them? If the answer is a resounding no, then there's work that needs to be done. And trust me, I have been there. But this is the truth. We have up to 60,000 thoughts a day, and research has shown that about 80% of those thoughts are negative. Imagine you're having that many thoughts in one day, and the majority of them are negative thoughts. And most of them are probably even repetitive negative thoughts that you think to yourself all the time, every single day. How good is that for your self-worth and your self-love? It isn't. It's not building any self-love. Your inner dialogue wires your nervous system. So when you're constantly telling yourself things like, oh, I'm such a loser. Oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I'm not good enough. You are programming that into your subconscious. And you will start to believe that. And if you believe it, then it's true, even though that's not necessarily the true reality and how other people perceive you. So you have to reframe that and change the way that you talk to yourself, because if you wouldn't talk to your friend or somebody that you loved the way that you talk to yourself, then why are you doing this? It's not going to motivate us. It's not going to make us feel better about ourselves. It just creates this cycle of perpetual guilt and shame that we can't escape out of. A good way to reframe negative self-talk is name it and reframe it. So catching yourself when you're thinking or saying these things to yourself, like, I'm lazy. No, stop. You named it. I'm lazy. Reframe it to, I'm tired and I am allowed to rest. So I still do this. Sometimes it pops up and I have to reframe it, because I think that sometimes with the stupidest thing, like I'll drop something, like drop a glass of water, and I'm like, oh, Natasha, you're an idiot. Why? I just dropped a glass of water, and then I'll stop and reel back and be like, wait, no, I'm not an idiot. I just wasn't paying attention and I dropped my glass of water. It's okay. It's just water. I'll clean it up. It's not a big deal. It doesn't mean I'm stupid. And a good thing that I've always done, especially when I have feelings of anxiety, because I have dealt with anxiety for most of my life, is reminding myself of the things that I'm capable of. So if you are going down this negative spiral and thinking these negative thoughts about yourself, just doing a brain dump and writing all of the things that you're proud of yourself for. What are some things that you've achieved? What are some things that you've done for yourself that you're proud of? We are always our number one worst critic. And I know, because I pretty much hated myself when I was younger. And I never verbally said, like, Natasha, I hate myself. No, but the way that I talked to myself, the way I wrote in my diary about myself, I didn't need to explicitly say it because it was there. I was constantly having these negative thoughts. So no wonder I didn't believe in myself because I never challenged any of them. So I know what it's like to get in that cycle of negativity and a negative headspace. But paying attention to those thoughts and challenging them truly help. Your mind isn't your enemy. It's just misinformed. That's all it is, right? If we believe it, then it's true. But that doesn't mean that it's our reality. That's why we need to challenge it. Something that ties into the thoughts that you have about yourself is the boundaries you put with others. So it's treating ourselves with kindness with our thoughts, but also respecting ourselves with boundaries. A lot of people will think that boundaries are putting up a wall, but it isn't. Boundaries are building a fence with a gate that you control when you want to interact with somebody and also protecting your own energy and your peace. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're how we teach others and ourselves what we're worth. Real boundaries are protecting your energy, even if it disappoints someone else. Listen, similarly to other things that we've discussed today, a lot of times we think about boundaries and we get scared because we think, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my friends. People are going to get upset with me. From my own experience, that rarely happens. As long as you communicate it in a way that is effective and not hurtful, most people are going to understand. And it can be as simple as saying, no, I can't go to that event. And if somebody asks why and they push for a reason, you can be honest. You don't have to go and create this crazy story as to why you can't go. You can just say, I just really don't feel like going out. I'm tired, my energy's low, I'm burnt out, and I just really need to stay home and relax. Most people will understand. And if anything, you're teaching them how to set boundaries for themselves too, and that it's okay. You should be protecting your energy and trying to show up as your best self every day because it's showing that you are honoring yourself. You are respecting yourself, your body, your mental health. And what's there not to love about that? Last thing, reflection is so important. You can't deepen a relationship that you never pause to reflect on. Think about like romantic relationships in your life. There have probably been times that you've stepped back to reflect, am I satisfied in this relationship? Do I feel valued? Do I feel respected? You need to do that with yourself too. A great way to do this is weekly check-in. What did I need more of this week that I could have given to myself? How did I feel this week? What were some of my wins and things that brought me joy? Something that I love doing is also keeping a mood journal where I'm taking account of my overarching mood for each day and what created that mood, acknowledging what brings me joy and what brings me peace, but also understanding my own triggers and what actually makes me not feel confident or makes me feel bad about myself. Self-awareness is critical to self-love and also to emotional intelligence. Self-awareness is the first pillar of emotional intelligence. Without it, you can't be completely emotionally intelligent if you don't understand your own emotions and your own thoughts and the why behind them. You can't manage your emotions if you don't have that self-awareness. So that's why it's so important to always reflect on your day, on your week, and keep track of your progress. Like celebrate your wins. Remember, it's about listening to yourself. Deeper connection with yourself always starts with listening. You are in a relationship with yourself every single day. Like you are in it for the long haul. Other relationships can come and go. Friendships, romantic relationships, hell, even familial relationships, right? But The relationship you have with yourself, you are stuck with yourself while you're on this earth. So why not enjoy your own presence? Why not love yourself more? Why not work on that relationship to build that confidence and that self-trust in yourself? Make it a relationship worth staying in. It's the strongest relationship you will have in your life. And remember, you don't become your highest self by judging and shaming yourself. You can't love something you hate. You become your best self by loving the you that's here right now. So remember that when you're being a little too hard on yourself. So, what's one small way that you're going to show up for yourself today? I'd love to know. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you're interested in more videos about emotional intelligence, self-love, and occasionally me just oversharing and being awkward. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Say bye, Kiki. Bye. Well, you smell so good. Yeah, you do.